Good evening, short storytellers, keys part 2, and in tonight's or today's or this evening's short story writing, fiction writing prompt thing, whatever this is, consider I call myself a writer. I should probably know, my vocabulary should really stretch to knowing is it an episode though? Some people call these things a show. I mean, it's not an instructional series. If that, it's almost. It doesn't matter what it is anyway. I should have a better word than a thing, really, should I? So, keys, metaphorical. The metaphorical keys are solutions to codes and solutions to problems in life. When people say the key to success is. And also, this is stretching it a bit, but we'll start with this. The keys to a city. When a distinguished citizen is given freedom of the city, whatever that means. One time it was a thing because there were walls and gates in medieval times in Europe, and in order to get into the city after presumably sunset and before dawn, or to leave, then you needed a key to a gate. So if you'd been given the keys to the city, then you had the freedom of the city. You could come and go as you wished, and that was an honor bestowed on trusted citizens and heroes. So these are still given to, I will use the example of local celebrities, people who become relatively famous in the media, and the mayor makes a big fuss because it's good for newspapers, it's good for the city's image, it raises the profile of the city within the minds of the citizens themselves, who then think, hey, this is worth living here, I can be proud of myself for being part of this city. And that leads us on to the question, could this cause a sort of a problem? Would there be envy? Could there be two celebrities, one of whom feels slighted? Could the person being awarded the keys of the city find themselves encumbered with other duties that they did not foresee, such as having to open supermarkets and the like, which they don't particularly want to do? So there's a kind of a literary fiction story there, somebody being burdened with a lot of unwanted celebrity. Science fiction wise, you could twist this around and somebody is given a medal for an accidental feat of heroism. By medal I mean a recognition or a promotion to a spot that they don't particularly want. And in the fantasy horror genre, it could be that the protagonist doing something brings them to the attention of the mythical being that is going to cause problems for them. And in the case of thrillers and action, then we would go back to the science fiction and or the literary genre prompt, which would be that somebody becomes an object of envy and therefore has to run for their life because somebody decides to do a lot more than just troll them. They decide to hunt them down and start to persecute them, make their lives a misery. A bit like in Misery. And it doesn't have to be threats of death. It can be people just targeting them because they're just horrible people. Well, maybe they are, I don't know. It could be revenge. It could be two people who went to school together and all of a sudden this person is a celebrity and the person that they bullied at school realizes this is a perfect chance to start getting a bit of psychological revenge on the person that psychologically bullied them all those years ago. Okay. That's how it could be a problem. How could it be a solution to a problem? Well, the person uses their celebrity now to do good, to take up arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing them. And the sea of troubles could be keeping a local something or other open, which was threatened with closure. Stopping building on a plot of land that is part and parcel of that person's chartered. Those are possibilities. Right, 5:21. I think I'm going to wind it up here, and I'll finish up with the keys, which are the solution to a problem, to a code, to a cipher. We'll deal with that tomorrow. We'll keep this one short. So I'm hoping that's given you a few ideas, and don't forget this all started off with me opening and closing my door yesterday, thinking, a key. Just to reiterate, I think I'm going to start doing this in every episode, that a short story prompt, you just pick anything up, anything at all, and you say, what is this? What if it changed? You play what if it were bigger, if it were smaller, if it were a different color, a different size, a different weight, had a different purpose. What if it did the opposite of what it does? And then you ask the questions, what problems could it cause and what problems could it solve? And if you write just some things, then you're gonna get some ideas. Okay, and the other way to use these ideas is to put 3 of them together. So you have a main problem being solved and 2 other mini problems that occur along the way. So had the pen the other day, the pen is causing a problem, and the key causes another problem. The key doesn't function in the lock, for example, or it breaks, and that stops the person being able to go out and buy a new pen to solve the problem that the old pen has caused. And then what else did we look at this week? I can't remember, but you put the third one in and it makes a richer story, and it doesn't have to be longer than a couple of paragraphs, although I would imagine that the key might take a bit longer to solve unless the person just thinks, oh, hang it, and then climbs out of the window. But that could cause the third problem, which is a burglar gets in. All right, 7:24, as usual. Thumbs up if you like this idea and you're going to use it, or you can use it, and thumbs down if you think it's absolutely atrocious. And until tomorrow, happy writing. Good night.